Welcome back. It's me, Em. How are you guys doing? Hopefully, you're all doing well. No Darwin Awards, no dumb crimes. Oh, speaking of dumb crimes, in today's video, we're going to be meeting 10 more of our favorite criminals. But this time, with a bit of a twist. Because in this video, we're going to be talking about 10 of the most bizarre crimes ever committed. Some of them sound so bizarre that you would honestly think it's a prank, but it's not. From a man hired to cover things up, to another man stealing something so abundant you'll be wondering, why? It's time. Alrighty, bring in the lineup. Due to being one of the fastest growing countries in Asia, Tehran has introduced many road laws in the recent years to keep things manageable. Much like other big cities of the world, Tehran also has designated traffic zones with their own rules that you must follow, and fees you must pay, especially in the central, more crowded areas of the city. Unlike any other city in the world, though, Iranians have found an ingenious way to circumvent those rules and do whatever they want, all thanks to the dedicated license plate blockers. To get around the strict traffic zone laws, drivers in Tehran have taken to hiring pedestrians to walk behind their cars and block their plates from the view of CCTV cameras. While some of the plate blockers are just people on the street trying to earn a quick buck, there are others who do this for a living as well, either on foot or on a two-wheeled vehicle. This literally sounds like one of the easiest jobs ever. Too bad it's illegal, though. Ice theft doesn't mean much to any of us. Who would bother stealing something as natural and abundantly available as ice anyway? Sure, the phrase could be used in the context of a house party with limited ice, or during a heat wave when it seems everyone needs ice and all the stores are somehow out of it. But even then, calling it theft is sort of stretching it. Yes, we know that because of global warming, the Earth's ice caps are also gradually shrinking. But even then, things don't devolve to the point where we'd have to outright smuggle ice out of a glacier to have access to it. So, when the cops caught a man doing exactly that in Chile in 2012, it came as a surprise. He was caught with 5 metric tons of ice in the back of his truck. The officials suspected that the ice was meant for upscale restaurants and bars located in Chile's capital, Santiago, and that there must have been a full-fledged gang behind the operation. An ice gang. Couldn't they have just made ice and claimed it came from a glacier? After all, they're already doing something illegal. This would just make it a little less illegal. What do you think when you see a bridge? Well, many people would reply with, absolutely nothing, it's just a bridge. The more curious may wonder how it must have been built or how people used to go from one side to the other before it. At no point would any one of us go, that's beautiful, how do I steal it? As stealing a bridge sounds like something that's not humanly possible. Despite that, bridges around the world have been reported stolen overnight, with very little explanation of how it was accomplished. Bridge theft has occurred in the Czech Republic, England, and Turkey, just to name a few countries. The aforementioned case in the Czech Republic, which happened in 2012, involved the dismantling of a 10-ton bridge that had over 650 feet of track. We wouldn't even be sure where to start if someone was paying us to do it, as we're not talking about a small object you can just steal and load in your truck and drive off with. How do you dismantle it? How do you transport it? And most importantly, how do you do it without anyone noticing? In case you aren't in the loop, the French are continuously hitting the streets every weekend to protest against some policies. That's not something new, as the French are known for their willingness to protest. This isn't about the Yellow Vest, though, but a lesser-known protest group in the south of the country with weirder motives. A group of militants in the region of Languedoc has been making the news for an entirely new type of resistance against imported wines for a while now. Termed wine terrorism by the local media, their methods include vandalizing the offices of various wine importers to take a stand against imported wine, especially from Spain. They've caused many spills around the port area, and the authorities have had to clean up, though no cases of actual violence against any actual people have been reported yet. I wonder if that has something to do with the fact that maybe they're drinking some of that wine while they're spilling it. I know I would be. Many serious crimes start with a pet, like a cat. Though this is definitely not one of them, even though cats are definitely involved. In a town in England, it was reported in January 2016 that someone was accosting cats and shaving fur off them, even though we can't think of any conceivable reasons as to why anyone would do that. 2 cats were found with big patches of fur missing, as though someone had a trimmer, wanted to do something with it, but wasn't very good at it. The cats were understandably left shaken by the whole ordeal. The cats weren't hurt in any other way, suggesting that the shaving may have been the ultimate goal. The questionable motives of the assailant or assailants aside, it wasn't the first time someone had shaved a neighborhood cat. The locals remember another case around a year before this one, when a different cat was found to have been mysteriously shaved in a similar manner. Whoever the serial cat shaver might be, we surely hope they get caught soon, so that at least we can have some kind of understanding for their motives. And I want to know what they did with all that fur. A man in Kansas was arrested in November 2019 for driving a stolen SUV to bail out his brother, who had been jailed only hours earlier for stealing a separate SUV. According to the Jackson County Sheriff's Office, the first sibling caught was 36-year-old Eric McCracken. But hey, at least his name wasn't Phil. He was arrested for driving a Chevy Trailblazer with a suspended license. Police then revealed they learned the SUV had been reported stolen. Hours later, his younger brother, also not named Phil, but Keith McCracken, was arrested after leading deputies on a short chase in a stolen 2015 Chevy Silverado that authorities were tracking through GPS. It is believed that the younger McCracken was en route to the Jackson County Jail to post bail on his older brother in a stolen vehicle. The brothers were reunited in jail. How sweet. In case you've never seen it in a viral video or in National Geographic, the Komodo dragon is the largest lizard species on the planet. It's native to just a handful of Indonesian islands, though. Thank God for that. It looks like the living embodiment of death, and a bunch of them is certainly not something you'd want to run across on a casual hike. Or ever. You probably wouldn't willingly go near one if you had a choice, and even then, you'd keep your distance, because just look at these things. And yet some people aren't just willing to go near them, they're also stealing them. Komodo dragon theft has turned into a big enough problem for authorities to completely ban tourists from Komodo Island starting in January 2020. An end date for the ban has not yet been set. Even so, why would someone steal a Komodo dragon? Not only are they dangerous, but they don't have pretty fur to be sold or anything else other than the looks of pure, cold death in their eyes. Now maybe that's your thing, no judgment. Okay, maybe a little judgment. Some people think that they must be useful in traditional Eastern medicine, which may be why each one of them goes for $35,000 or more. We just hope that's the case and that no one's actually keeping them as pets. Could you imagine if it had gotten out of its cage? Now this one I might be able to get behind. I admit, cheese is good. And no matter how much we eat, we never get tired of it. Unless you have a lactose intolerance, of course. It is widely acknowledged opinion that the freedom to go to the store and get more cheese whenever we want is one of modern society's greatest gifts. Could you just imagine how bad life would be if it weren't readily available? That's no life I want to be a part of. Well, you don't have to imagine it, because that's exactly the situation in Russia. It's probably the only country in the world with a thriving cheese black market. And they regularly arrest local criminal cheese rings. You'd think that a cheese black market would be some sort of joke, but they're really serious about it. Why not just make more cheese, or make your own cheese? So many cheesy possibilities. Canada generally isn't known for its gruesome crimes. although it has quite a few bizarre cases with questionable motives. It all started in December 2015 when some people in British Columbia started hearing noises from the house next door. They reported it and notified the family the house belonged to, though it only got weirder from there. Authorities found a man stuck inside a vent. He was wrapped in insulation, possibly to keep himself warm, though that wouldn't have been a necessity if he also wasn't buck naked. On further inspection, the whole house was found to be trashed, and the man was assumed to have been living above the ceiling, based on the large hole in it from which he clearly fell. Police weren't clear on why he ransacked the house or what he was doing stuck in the vents when they found him, or what he was doing in general. They were, however, clear on when he got naked. At some point in the middle of this destruction, as they found his underwear in the toilet. That showed that at least he didn't come down naked for the job, which would have been weird. Or at least weirder than it already was. Though it doesn't really explain what the job was or why he was there in the first place. The beach is loved by many. Why not? It's a social place with many people chilling and having a good time, unless you visit some frozen beach in Norway or something. The view is gorgeous, and looking at the seemingly endless ocean helps you calm down no matter how hard your day has been. Not everyone shares that opinion though, especially not the people who have taken to stealing sand from beaches across the world. Sand theft is an increasingly serious problem for authorities around the world, as it's apparently highly in demand due to its use in construction. Sardinia has instituted hefty fines for stealing sand, but they're still catching people trying to take some home for some reason. It's not like one bottle of sand can be used in construction or anything. In many developing countries, sand is gradually coming up as a highly coveted commodity, which may make stealing some off the beach sound a little bit less weird. Countries like India even have full-fledged sand mafias. You probably wouldn't want to run into them though. So what do you think? What was the most bizarre crime on this list? Leave a comment below. And have you checked out the new Elevate merch yet? Because it's up. If you have one, or any of the merch, don't forget to take a picture, post it on Instagram, #terrifying10. Thank you so much for joining me again. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and don't forget, always elevate Troop TT.